If you're planning a trip to Europe, there are some big changes coming your way, changes that could cost you hundreds of dollars, or even prevent you from getting on your flight if you're not prepared. Today, I'm breaking down every policy shift that affects travelers heading to Europe, new digital authorizations, extra fees, tighter border checks, and even some good news about baggage rules. Let's start with the one that's going to hit your wallet first. ETIAS, Europe's new travel authorization. Beginning in late 2026, the European Union is finally scheduled to launch ETIAS, the European Travel Information and Authorization System. If you've ever traveled to the US and applied for ESTA, this will feel very familiar. It's not a visa, but a mandatory pre-approval you'll need before boarding any flight to Europe. The road to ETIAS has been long. First, it was supposed to launch in 2022, then 2024, then 2025, and now the new target is the last quarter of 2026. Whether that sticks is anyone's guess, but the system is definitely coming. So, what does it mean for travelers? If you're from the US, Canada, the UK, or another visa-exempt country, you'll need to complete an online application before your trip. The process is simple: fill in your passport details, answer a few security questions, and pay the fee. Most approvals should come within minutes, though in rare cases it could take up to 4 days. Once approved, your ETIAS will be valid for 3 years, allowing multiple entries. That's a plus for frequent travelers. Apply once, and you're covered for several trips as long as your passport stays valid. The key thing to remember: without ETIAS, you won't be allowed to board. Airlines will check it before you fly, just like your passport. So while this new requirement might feel like another piece of red tape, it's really just a digital filter, Europe's way of knowing who's arriving in advance. As long as you add it to your pre-trip checklist, it shouldn't cause more than a minor bump in your travel plans. The ETIAS fee hike. Originally, this digital pass was supposed to cost just €7. But the latest update? The fee has jumped to €20 per traveler aged 18 to 70, about $23. EU officials say the increase is necessary to cover the costs of border security and immigration management. And while €20 might not sound huge, families traveling together will definitely feel the impact. The silver lining: once you pay, you won't need to renew it for 3 years. But here's the reality: these little, just $20 fees add up quickly. A family of 4 could be paying close to $100 just for the privilege of entering Europe. Not a vacation ruiner, but definitely something you'll want to budget for. Entry/exit system. Goodbye passport stamps. ETIAS isn't the only change coming. On October 12, 2025, the European Union will introduce the entry/exit system, EES, a move that will completely change the way travelers pass through border control. For decades, passport stamps have been a small keepsake of international travel. Soon, they'll be gone. Instead, every time you enter or leave the Schengen zone, you'll go through biometric checks. Your fingerprints and a facial scan will be recorded and stored in a central database. This system will apply to all non-EU visitors, including Americans, Canadians, Brits, and Australians. The goal is simple: tighten security, stop overstays, and give authorities a clear digital record of who's in Europe and for how long. But here's the catch: the first 6 months are expected to be messy. Millions of travelers will be adjusting, border agents will still be learning, and lines at immigration could be much longer than usual, especially at busy hubs like Paris, Rome, or Madrid. Once the system settles in, officials say it should actually speed things up. No more flipping through passports for empty space or trying to decipher faded stamps. Just a scan, a database update, and you're cleared. The UK's ETA system. While the EU prepares to launch ETIAS, the United Kingdom already has its own system in place. The UK Electronic Travel Authorisation, ETA, went live in late 2023. For Americans, this means if you're traveling to England, Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland, you'll need to apply online and pay the fee. The ETA is valid for 2 years and allows multiple visits. The fee? It started at £10 but has already jumped to £16, about $20. When you add it all up, €20 for ETIAS and £16 for the UK ETA, you're looking at around $40 in authorization fees per traveler just to set foot in Europe and the UK. There's one exception: if you're only connecting through a UK airport like Heathrow or Manchester and you don't pass through border control, you won't need the ETA. That little detail could save you some money if you're simply transiting to the continent. Carry-on baggage rules, a win for travelers? Here's some rare good news. The European Parliament has voted to end extra fees for small cabin bags, anything under 7 kilograms and 100 centimeters total size, on all European flights. If this becomes law, budget airlines like Ryanair, EasyJet, and Wizz Air will have to include one free carry-on bag with every ticket. Right now, they're charging anywhere from €20 to €50 just for that privilege. Airlines are pushing back hard, saying it will raise base fares, but for travelers, it would make pricing much more transparent and avoid nasty surprises at checkout. But until the law officially passes, airlines are doubling down. Ryanair, for example, has started paying staff bonuses for catching oversized bags, upping the reward from €1.50 to €2.50 per bag with no cap. If your bag is even slightly over, you could be slapped with a €60 penalty. Digital boarding passes only. Speaking of Ryanair, they've announced another change. Starting November 2025, they'll no longer accept paper boarding passes. Travelers must use the app to board. The good news is, if your phone dies or gets lost, Ryanair says they'll reissue a paper pass at the airport for free, as long as you've checked in online ahead of time. But still, this shift is a reminder that traveling in Europe is increasingly going digital. Make sure your phone is charged, updated, and ready to go. Airport security, bigger liquids allowed, sometimes. This one's a game changer. Several European airports, including Amsterdam, Berlin, Milan, Rome, Birmingham, and Edinburgh, now allow passengers to carry liquids up to 2 liters in hand luggage, with no restrictions on container size. This is thanks to advanced CT scanners that can detect liquids more effectively. That means yes, you can bring your full-size shampoo or water bottle. The catch? These relaxed rules are not in place everywhere, and US airports are still sticking with the old 100 milliliters limit. So, check your departure and connecting airports carefully, because the rules can change depending on where you fly. TSA pilot program, faster connections in the US. For travelers heading back to the United States, there's a small but exciting pilot program. Since July 2025, select flights from London Heathrow, American Airlines to Dallas and Delta to Atlanta allow travelers to skip TSA rescreening when connecting domestically. That means once you clear customs, you can head straight to your gate without another round of security. It's limited for now, but if successful, the program could expand to more flights and airports. For anyone who's ever sprinted through a US airport after a long-haul flight, this update is very welcome news. Over-tourism and local restrictions. It's not just border controls changing, popular tourist cities across Europe are cracking down on over-tourism. Venice is charging day trippers €5 on peak days just to enter. Barcelona is phasing out thousands of short-term rentals. Amsterdam has raised its tourist tax to one of the highest in Europe. Add in ongoing labor disputes, like France's air traffic control union strikes in late 2025, and it's clear that flexibility and staying updated are more important than ever. Final thoughts. Traveling to Europe in the coming years is going to look a lot different. Between ETIAS fees, biometric checks, and shifting airline policies, preparation will be key. But there's also positive news: cheaper baggage rules, relaxed liquid restrictions at some airports, and smoother connections back in the US. So, before you book that flight, double-check the latest requirements for each country and airline. A little planning now could save your money, time, and a whole lot of stress later. And with that, let me ask you, are you planning a trip to Europe in the next year? If so, which countries are on your list? Thanks for watching, safe travels, and I'll see you in the next video.